I'm gonna go ahead and give like kind of like some thoughts about the game.
I want to make this very clear because I don't want anybody to get it twisted. This is not a this is not a review. This is just simply my opinion of the game at this time of the game, right? And I'm like level 81. I played it for, I don't know, like maybe 30 or 40 hours, something like that. This is kind of like, I wouldn't say my first impressions. It's not my last impressions. It's not a full review of the game. This is just like my temperature read on the game at this point, right? I mean, how many fucking times are we going to preface this? So you guys see kind of what I'm saying, right? And so anyway, this is the halfway point. Yeah, you could say that. Overall, I would say like leveling in the game feels very kind of slow at the end. Like I will start off with that, like, because that's been what I've been dealing with like right off, is I do feel like leveling like really slowed down a lot. And I'm not sure exactly like how exciting I think the gear is, but I will start from the beginning of the game and talk about like the beginning of the game. I think that playing through this game, and especially the campaign, was very good. I really liked the campaign. Now, why did I like it? I liked it because it gave you a number of difficult bosses. Some of the things in the campaign were voice acted. They had trailers, or sorry, not trailers. They had cinematics for the fucking campaign. I don't know, I can't say this, but yeah, I think it's had that. Like, I like that you were able to craft gear while you were doing the campaign, because I feel like in most ARPGs, you hardly ever craft or do anything. You just pick up the loot and go. But because crafting in this game is very easy to do, and inventory management isn't really that much of a chore in the same way that it is for, like, I'd say PoE or for Diablo, you feel like you're able to make on-the-fly decisions and change what you're going to do pretty quickly. So, do you think the lore is interesting? I think any sort of time travel lore is inherently very hard to follow. So I don't fully understand what even happened in the story. And this comes as somebody who, like, listened to a lot of the dialogue and everything. I don't really understand it that well. But I could also just be... I like, whenever I play a game on stream, my attention is always, like, divided between the stream and the game. So I'm not really fully focusing on that. So it's hard for me to really, like, put a lot of thought into the story and, like, really evaluate it. Especially whenever this is the kind of game that I play for really the gameplay and not the story. The story is nice, but it's really about the gameplay. That's the reason why I'm here. And I think that some of the aesthetics in the game, like the graphics in the game are, I think, like, they're good. Like, the graphical fidelity with a lot of things, like, I would say, like, this is, like, actually quite bad. But at the same time, there is an art style of the game that I think is very good. And I'll give you an example of that. I think The End of Time is probably the best example of that. So this is a relatively, like, low, like, in terms of, like, graphical quality. But this is amazing. This is incredible. And I think it really goes to show that whenever you have a game that has a great art direction and a great art style, I think that's going to carry the game a lot farther than graphical fidelity. And I think that Last Epoch definitely shows that. I also want to say that I feel like the abilities in the game feel extremely good to use. And I would say that the abilities in the game feel better to use at the beginning than they do in PoE. And they feel worse to use at the end than they do in PoE. So, like, PoE has, like, infinitely more, like, ability and, like, damage scaling and crazy things that can happen. But at the very beginning, a lot of the abilities in PoE are pretty boring to use, other than, like, I think Arc is really cool. But aside from, like, that and maybe a couple other abilities, they don't, like, really feel good in the same way that, for example, Hammer Throw in this game, I think, really kind of feels good. Warpath feels good. A lot of the things in this game, the combat in the game, has a feel-good element to it, but I also think that it has a certain level of clunkiness to it that could be like min-maxed to be better. Like Diablo 4, for a lot of its faults and a lot of its problems, does have fluidity of combat kind of down, and I think it does a very good job at that. And I think that really, like, a min-maxed PoE character, especially with Tailwind and, like, different types of action speed modifications, will outpace the quality of gameplay and, like, feedback that a Diablo 4 character will give you. But in a general sense, I think that Diablo 4 is still kind of at the head of the pack there, and it feels better. But whenever I look at Last Epoch, I think that it's somewhere in the middle. And I would say that the lower level leveling experience in Last Epoch is the best out of the 3 games. I think that it's I think it's better than PoE, and I also think that it's better than Diablo 4. I like that you're able to change gear a lot. I like that you get really big upgrades. I like that you get legendaries early. I like that, like, you'll get a piece of gear and it's like really big upgrade, and then like you get to higher areas, and then the mobs are harder, and then you have to get better gear, and it feels very good. I would say there's that. I also like the fact that you don't have to go back and complete specific quests. You just have to complete a certain number of side quests in order to unlock the requisite talent points, and then also the idol slot unlocks. And I also want to say that I think that this idol thing, if I were to say, like, what is my favorite thing about this game, I think it would actually be this. I think this is really, really cool, and I like this a lot. I really like this idol system. I think it's so cool. Yeah, the idols and the blessings, yeah, they're awesome. Monoliths get repetitive, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Now, the crafting system, like this thing here, like, I'll just put an item into the crafting system so you guys can see it. I think the crafting system is nice and it's interesting, and it's certainly a lot better. Like, I think the crafting system is, like, coming from the PoE crafting system, and I know about like 60% of PoE crafting. Probably even, I don't know. I probably actually only know 40%, and I don't even know that I don't know the other 20%. But I know a pretty good amount of crafting in PoE. And the PoE crafting system is much more expansive and extensive than this. And I think that works as a double-edged sword. And so PoE has had like 10 years of innovation and design that's gone into its systems. And I think that obviously shows in terms of, fighting an NPC like a rare that does more damage than Searing Exarch or something like that. But it also shows up in having gear that's like overly complex as well. And I think that really for most players, Last Epoch's system is going to be much more in line with what they're comfortable with. And if I wasn't a PoE player of 10 years, I think that I would vastly prefer what Last Epoch provides versus PoE, because the PoE system is so hard to get into, and it's punishing in ways that I think are unfun. I also think that this game doesn't punish you for taking risks in the same way that I think PoE does. And, like, for example, I think PoE punishes you for trying out different things or doing different things, because whenever you do something like that, you run the risk of potentially, bricking a character, especially for, like, in campaign. Like, if you're playing one build in campaign and it's not going very well, well, then it's hard to change that build because you have to use a lot of regret orbs, and for, like, a level 37 new player, regret orbs are not something that they can realistically buy, so they kind of have bricked the character. And I think that that's really kind of like a mistake that a new player, in my opinion, shouldn't be able to make. And I think it's like an unnecessary L that PoE takes, and I wish they didn't do that. I can go, and so yeah, but like what it leads, so like the more that you punish people for making mistakes, the more people avoid making mistakes. And the more people avoid making mistakes, the more they follow guides. And I think the more they follow guides, the less intrinsic value I think that a lot of them will get out of learning things and growing in the game. Because they're just going to be following a guide, like, word for word, thing for thing. And that's really what they do. And so this is the same as, like, Lost Ark, for example, where like, there's, like, such high gatekeeping in Lost Ark. And why is that? Well, it's because if one person makes a mistake, everybody dies. So guess what happens? Well, you have to have Light of Salvation 30. or whatever the Demon Commander one is now. And so that's what ends up happening, is that the harder that you punish players, the harder players try to avoid being punished. And I don't think avoiding being punished is a bad thing necessarily, but I think that whenever you do it to people that are unsuspecting, that don't understand the nuances of the game, you run the risk of alienating them in a way that you don't really need to. And I think that's kind of what happened with PoE for a lot of people. I also think that this game does a pretty good job of kind of like segmenting out a lot of the complexity in the game. Like, for example, like imagine if you took this, and this, and you made it all one big talent tree. Well, that's effectively what PoE is, right? But at the same time, the PoE talent tree is, like, a lot of people open up the PoE talent tree and they say, okay, I'm done. So I think this game provides a higher level of customization in a way that's more bite-sized, I guess you could say, and in a way that is more digestible. Yeah, it's overwhelming, right? And like then they hear there's another one too for maps. And so it's like, yeah, there's 2 of those and 5 of these things. And so PoE, I think, suffers from some of the same problems that World of Warcraft does, retail WoW. And that problem primarily is that the game has been designed for so long. There are so many intricacies and complexities that have been designed over into the game for so many years that it is overwhelming for a new player. And the people that are used to it love it, and the people that aren't used to it can't get into it. So it's like you're kind of pulling up the ladder every season by like 1 step for the amount of people that are able to like get back into the game. It's cluttered. Yeah, exactly. That's basically what's happened with PoE. And also, like, I think that the system of being able to like make a baseline character and then basically do your ascendancy, I do really like the ascendancy system in Path of Exile. And I know that a lot of people don't like the Labyrinth, but I think that the main reason why people don't like the Labyrinth is because they used to have to do it all the time in order to get the Uberlab Helm enchants. But I think that if you look at it from a base perspective, this is my opinion at least, I actually really like the Labyrinth challenges in PoE, and I think that getting your mastery for Void Knight or whatever is actually kind of anticlimactic. And I wish that we had something in this game that was similar to the Labyrinth. And I want to preface that by saying that the Labyrinth was actually a patch in Path of Exile. Path of Exile did not launch with the Labyrinth. So this is something that probably will come. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm assuming like probably a quest for becoming a Void Knight, where like you fight some sort of void object or something like that. Like the Labyrinth, I'm not saying they should put the PoE Labyrinth in Last Epoch. I'm just saying that a baseline challenge for you to master, to show that you've like earned mastery over the game and that you want to kind of become a Void Knight, I think that would be pretty cool. They had it and then they removed it. Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't a good idea. Maybe if I played the game and it had that, I wouldn't like it. But I don't know. I'm just talking about it. That's kind of the way that I feel. And so, yeah, I didn't play the game pre-release. But yeah, the crafting system, I understand about like maybe 30 to 40% of this crafting system. There are a lot of nuances that I don't fully understand and I don't fully get yet. But I think as time goes on, I'll probably learn more about it. So the campaign was good. Let's get that over with. The campaign was good. I had fun doing the campaign. So after you do the campaign, the main system that you do here is the Monoliths. You have all these monoliths. These are basically like, think of them as like, if you played Synthesis League in PoE, it's very similar to that. And, you know, you can target farm different items, etc. Each one has different levels. The monolith system is okay. I think that the monoliths are extremely fast. And I feel like whenever you do, for example, like, let me think of like more of a long form map in PoE. Like burial chambers, you can kind of lock in. Whereas I feel like I spend almost as much time in some of these monoliths, like on a loading screen to and from the monolith, than actually doing the monolith. It's like if you were to make a pie chart of the amount of time that I spend playing versus the amount of time that I spend going to and from playing, I think that the pie chart would have the going to and from section of that pie, the piece would be too big. Now, how do you fix that? I don't really know how to fix that, because I think that a lot of people might like that because they can play the game in these like very small like bursts. And also empowered, yeah, empowered monoliths might take longer, but you have to keep in mind that like I've now played the game for 30 hours. I don't think that you should expect somebody to play the game. If a game is not good on level 1, it's a bad game. I really dislike the mindset that you have to play a game for this, you know, random period of time in order to unlock the good content. The good content should be available immediately, and I think with PoE it kind of is. And with Diablo 4, I think it kind of is as well. I mean, comparatively at least, right? It's not like the content gets any better in Diablo 4. It's like at level 15, you're doing the same thing you're going to be doing at level 95. So yeah. But you said it's good from the start, didn't you? I did. I did say this game is good from the start, but I think the end game for this game isn't really that interesting. Like, I don't find the end game for this game as interesting as the end game for PoE. I think that the PoE end game is a lot more interesting to me, but I also want to contextualize that and say that I haven't really interfaced a whole lot with this Circle of Fortune thing, and I need to learn more about this before I can really have that strong of an opinion. Because I think this is something that's very, what do you call it? That's very impactful, and it does play a big role in the way that you're going to enjoy the game. So, 40 favor, yeah, and I will spend this time and figure all of this out, and that will make it more interesting. But overall, I do think that PoE's endgame system is probably a bit more interesting, but I also think that towards the end of PoE's map system, I actually don't like really high-end PoE maps. And the reason why I don't like them is that they're full of like all these multiplicative damage scaling modifiers, and your character just ends up getting instantly deleted randomly, and it's hard for you to even understand what you did wrong and what even happened. Like a lot of the PoE death clips, for example, you have to like go back and literally watch it at like frame by frame. I find this to be like very boring content and like very boring design, and I don't really like that very much, and I think it just makes the game less fun. And I think also, as somebody who played PoE from the very beginning, the game wasn't always like this. The game always had bullshit in one way or another, but the game has become more and more like this over the years because of the different like potential multiplicatives. Power creep tends to cause these kind of issues. Yeah, it's basically power creep. That's effectively what happens. I love the insanity that's the end game of PoE. Yeah, I like there's a lot of things about it. I just don't like the way that difficulty scales in PoE, and I think it's too random, and that makes it less fun to me. Whereas like in Last Epoch, I haven't felt like that same feeling of like super random difficulty where it's like not fun. It's like, okay, I'm doing really well, and then I get killed by something I don't really understand. So yeah, PoE before Atlas was very mid. Yeah, the Atlas map change totally. I think that was like Maven League or something like that. Or not Maven, it was Ritual. Yeah, that was crazy good. But I do think that like this is generally, Last Epoch just came out. Yeah, but I'm comparing it to that, and I'm talking about the things that I like and things that I don't like about it. I do think that whenever people talk about how Last Epoch is like the good middle ground between Diablo 4 and PoE, I think that they're definitely right. I think that that's true. Last Epoch, I think, undeniably provides a lot more customization options than Path of Exile. Or sorry, than Diablo 4. But it provides a lot less than Path of Exile. And I think that it also provides a lot more tools for you to kind of craft gear than Diablo 4, and a lot less than PoE. So there are a lot more decisions that you can make in this game versus Diablo 4. But if PoE is overwhelming for you, this game probably, if Diablo 4 is too little and PoE is too much, this game will probably be what's just right. I will say that this game, I've enjoyed playing it a lot. I've looked forward to playing it every day, and I've played it a lot already. So, yeah, you said it else. PoE didn't start how it is now. I believe a lot more will come from Last Epoch. I think that Last Epoch has a number of, in my opinion, like extremely elegant and intelligent solutions for problems that ARPGs have. Like, for example, I don't, like, if you took every single crafting material in PoE and you put them inside of this, how would anything, like, I just think that would make the game better in a lot of ways. I do. I'm going to be honest. I think it would probably just make the game better. Because there are just so many unnecessary and annoying things to pick up and to do. It's like, oh my fucking god. Like, you're constantly trying to, like, manage 17 different types of currencies. Inventory management, I don't think, is a fun type of gameplay. And also, this game has larger bag space dynamically. And there's, like, an instant transfer materials. So there's a lot of things that in PoE are kind of, like, things that waste time. Oh, yeah, I am missing my ring. Thanks, before I forget. Things that waste time that this game doesn't have. Inventory management is always your end game? Yeah, I don't like that. But also, like, again, PoE's monetization system, like, it's not like it's really that bad. I just wish that, for example, like, you could do it whenever you're in your stash. Or, sorry, whenever you're not next to your stash in PoE. Yeah, always hate inventory in games. Yeah. So, a big amount of fun in this game is also a variation with how each class plays. Yeah. Upcoming cycles are focused on bringing in more in-game content. Yeah. I think that really the campaign is very much good. Whereas, like, whenever PoE released... was it like Dominus or Malachi that was the... I forgot if it was Dominus, Malachi, or Kitava. I don't remember. Which one was the last boss? Whenever was it Dominus? Whenever the game Vol Oversoul? No, that was in the beta. I think whenever the game actually released, it was like Dominus or Malachi or something like that. Yeah, because Vol Oversoul, I remember that was in the closed beta. Was it Piety whenever it came out? I don't remember. Well, either way, I think that this campaign, like, what I mean is, like, so PoE has had to improve their campaign many, many, many times, right? Like the Oriath patch, and then I think that they did, like, one other one before that. And so, like, the campaign for this game, I feel like, is already good. When they add Atzuri. Atzuri, I think, was the first or second league. It was like Sacrifice of the Ball. Like, I think really it's just about adding end-game activities for players to do in this game that offer dynamic and different gameplay that is separate from what you're doing in a monolith. And I don't know exactly, like, how to solve that. I really don't know. But as I said, I think that the development team for this game is pretty smart. I actually think they know what they're doing. So I think that over time, they will figure out the solution to that kind of stuff. They're smart as fuck. Yeah. And I think that, like, really, I mean, I don't think the PoE team is incompetent either. Like, for example, I think the instilling orbs instill the sense of confidence in me with PoE 2 that I've almost never had with the game before. Because it was, like, literally the smartest way that you could solve a problem that every single person had. So, yeah. What'd you say about dungeons in this game? I think they're okay, but, like, I don't find them that interesting. Without the trading stash in PoE, trading waste your time in PoE, they basically sell you time improvement. Maybe, but, like, I don't know if it's really that simple. But I just think, like, all of the currency management in PoE definitely does take you away from the gameplay. But for some people, they enjoy that type of gameplay. So I think that really it's an element of not every game has to be the same. And sometimes there are things that some people enjoy and other people don't enjoy. So, like, It's not that simple. But personally, I like the system with this better because I hate dealing with inventory. Like, I want to play a game and I want to, like, you know, farm stuff and do that. It's solved with mechanics, whereas PoE is map with loads of different things to do. Yeah, but, like, I think also, like, with PoE maps, do you guys ever get fatigued and wished and you could just, like, blast through a map without having to do, like, 3 or 4 different side objectives? Because I sometimes feel that way about PoE. And, like, for example, like, that's why I hate Expedition. Expedition is like that. Like, last time I just got the big bomb, dropped the big bomb. Okay, they're immune. All right, I'm leaving. And that's it. So I'll smash mobs? Yeah, exactly. You can just choose not to do every event. Yeah, but it feels bad, though, doesn't it? To, like, choose not to do an event because you're like, I'm missing out on this. Especially whenever you're spending currency in order to improve a map, in order to have it. Yeah, it's like FOMO, right? But, like, no, you're right. And, like, there are a lot of them that I do skip sometimes, too. Balkan on Atlas. Well, like, is it weird for me to say that sometimes I feel like doing them, and then sometimes I feel like not doing them, and I don't want to have to, like, respec the Atlas every time? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the solution to this. I'm just, like, explaining, like, how a game makes me feel. Sometimes it feels annoying. Sometimes it doesn't feel annoying. Like, I don't know. It feels like a chore sometimes. It doesn't feel like a chore other times. Like, I don't know what the, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the solution to this is or anything. That's just what I think. Like making decisions inside of a map. Yeah. Asman gives his expert opinion of playing 30 hours in a new game, comparing it to a game released for 10 years, and the conclusion is the game is very good, but he won't play it after a week. Is that what I said? I don't think it's what I said. But it's not really an expert opinion. I'm just giving my impressions of the game. And also after 30 hours, like 30 hours for, I would say like an average person is 2 to 3 weeks. If you're not entitled to have an opinion about, like for example, with Elden Ring, if you're not liking Elden Ring 5 hours into the game, I don't know, maybe you're doing something wrong, right? Maybe there's just like, you don't understand how to upgrade your weapon or something like that, or Dark Souls. But like the odds are, like if you've played it for like a couple of days and you're not enjoying the game, then maybe you probably just won't like the game. So yeah, I think that after 30 hours, like you can't expect an average person to sit through 30 hours of gameplay in order to get to the good part. I think that's a very bad mindset to have. But yeah, that's my opinions of the game. Overall opinions, I agree. I like the game. I think the game is good. And fuck, I would recommend the game. I would. I think it's a good game. If you like ARPGs, if you like Diablo 4, if you like PoE, I think this game is good. Score 1 to 10. I would say it's like an 8. I think it's like an 8 to like a 9. It's probably like, I would feel very confident saying it's an 8.5, but it's, I don't know about like giving like half numbers, right? But yeah, I would say it's an 8 to a 9. Level 90 area. Am I ready to do a level 90 area? That's a lot. Do I have a big enough dick to do a level 90 area? I do. Let's do it. Time to find out? Yeah, true. Okay. Maybe we can get a good scepter. Even though they're not very useful. Actually, I'm just gonna go for experience. So I got a weapon. Oh, I can't open my thing now. I'm just waiting for this to finish, and then as soon as this finishes, I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Is that Smite I see? Yes. Is this hardcore or softcore? Softcore. I was doing empowered at 100. Or at 75, yeah. Some people get stuck at the 75 area. Just beat it. What was this? What was the level 75 boss? I don't even remember. Lagon? I didn't have Lagon. No, I know for a fact I didn't fight him. Yeah. Lagon knees? Yeah. You're farming Terminus weapon and Grand Blue? I'm trying to get all the weapons capped. You went left side? Oh, okay. Is the black bird? Yeah, I don't remember. You can skip it. Okay. Wrong route. But yeah, I've got all my gear set up and everything. I got this. It's not a big deal. I just got it. It's just the way it is. Just have this item. And I'm gonna show you guys. Let me make sure I have this on autoplay. Then we're gonna start it. It's done. Yeah, it's done. Okay. You guys ready? Just the way it is. We're doing real work here. Oh, I can't go that way. I got it. So what do we get? We got one. I don't need that. What about this? Attunement? It's garbage. Okay, what about this? Fire damage? What the fuck is that? That looks hard? Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I just beat it. Yep, just beat it right there, guys. Boner amulet. +3 devour. Yeah, I mean, I did get this. You know, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, like, usually whenever I just get an item, I just get the best item. I figure that's, like, just a good idea to just get to just go and get the best item, like, right off the bat. And that way, I don't have to think about using any other items, because, like, I already have the good ones. Will I craft the helmet? Oh, I don't know. Let's do this one. Did you farm it or buy it? I am the circle of whatever the fuck. So I can't buy anything. I don't even have it set up either. Circle of Fortune. I'm marked for death. You think I give a fuck? I don't. We gotta kill this guy over here. So I've basically beaten the game. This is a boss. Why is he not taking any damage? Oh, there he is. He's dead now. Okay. And that's it. He's dead. That's the boss. No loot out of this one. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Garlic build. Watch Ziggy's guide about how good crafting is. Yeah, I crafted some items myself. Like, I maxed out my, Ooh, this is gonna be a really good item, I can tell. It has throwing damage on it. That's nice. Did you beat the dragon? Yeah, I did. I stood in the AoE the first time and it one-shot me, and then I killed it. And I can also cast these if I want to, too. Just for fun. I don't really do it, though, because it takes more work, and there's no reason to put in extra work. Oh, also, there's this button that makes me do, like, double damage, but I don't really use it a lot because it takes time, and I just don't really have to. It doesn't matter. But as you can see, like, whenever I have it on, it makes me do more damage. Ooh, we got a chest piece. I actually want to replace my chest piece. I haven't been able to do that yet. Ooh, we got the boss coming up. Okay, here we go. He dead. That was the boss. They have larger names. That's how you can tell they're bosses. I'll just make sure I wrap this up since you guys can see. Oh, is he dead? Yeah, he's dead now. Ooh, that's actually garbage. I don't want that. But yeah, as you see, you know, things are going really well for me. You know, the build's working out really well. Everything's going great. This build's changed my life. It basically did. I'm gonna be honest. Looks like I can do one more before I have to do a relic. I probably should try to go for those relics, but I'm gonna go for this first. You can unlock empowered monoliths. Oh yeah, no, I'll beat the game. Don't worry about that. Yeah, no, I have to get to 100. Like, grinding in this game really takes a while. Like, I don't know how to level faster. Because I feel like I'm leveling so slow for, like, how fast I'm clearing these dungeons. But I don't know how to level any faster. You need to get to empowered as soon as possible? Okay, well, I'll just do that. Empowered monoliths will help. Okay. Yeah, I guess I need to do that then. One more to go. I have an item waiting for me at level 80. What's this? Is that oh, that was a boss. Okay. Alright, let's see if we get anything good out of this. Yes. Alright. Let's see here. Fire damage, cast speed. This is a pretty decent base item, but it's not like amazing, so we're probably just gonna get rid of this. Throwing damage, +3 throwing damage. Oh wow. Chance to poison, I'll keep that just in case. Void damage, that's garbage. Melee lightning, that's also garbage. I don't really use a lot of these. I can't use a two-handed weapon. Or sorry, a two-handed melee weapon. Let's see. Physical damage, bleed duration. That's really good. I'm gonna hold on to that base item. 700 armor. That's crazy. 30% increased crit chance. I've never seen crit chance on gloves like that. Crit multi and health. That's really good too. I might try to roll onto these.
Take care.
Low implicit? Yeah, it was like 10% lower. It was pretty bad, right? After using 100, you won't play it anyway? Well, usually after I kind of achieve my goals in a game, I'll take a break in the game until the next, until the next time the game has, like, content, right? New content. Now, like, am I going to do that with this game? I'm not really sure. But, yeah. I'll do this. Blues have low potential? Really? I didn't know that. Rune Master goes hard? Yeah, I do feel like, so, after I played more of the endgame, there are some things I like about the endgame a lot, but I do feel like the endgame is not even nearly as dynamic as the PoE endgame, and I think that definitely does hold it back a little bit. Like, it feels like I'm always kind of doing the exact same thing. And also, I think that, like, it's like a good and a bad thing, and so, like, I don't really know how to, like, have an opinion about this. I'm not sure yet, but scorpions that drop rare items. Well, where are they? It's very repetitive. It's an item chase. Yeah, no, I understand that it's an item chase. Like, I understand the way ARPGs work. I'm just talking about, like, my interpretation of this ARPG. I get it. But yeah, because I've enjoyed playing the game a lot, but I do feel it kind of getting repetitive because it's like I'm kind of just going from different monolith area to different monolith area, and it's been like the exact same thing. Now, is this something that's like necessarily a, you know, something that's like unfixable? No, I think it's actually something that will fix itself. I think it will get better over time. But right now, what do you call it? Right now, that's not going to happen. Comparing a new release to PoE? Well, the truth is that people can choose to play this game or PoE. So, like, everybody is making that comparison. You are making that comparison every single day that you choose to play this game over PoE or PoE over this game. So, of course, a game has to have some degree of comparability to other games. I think that's just kind of common sense, isn't it? I would say it is. They're still both dungeons. Have you tried them then? The dungeons? No, I don't know if I... Oh, there's one. Faction system kind of fixes problems. It makes things very dynamic. Really? Is there any epic items? No. Okay, we'll just go after this then. And go for staves. Did you change your build? I did. What the hell is this? Do you miss the hammers? No. I don't like how this build makes me stop to cast the abilities. I wish I could cast them while moving. I think it's just like in terms of a, it just feels better to do that. But yeah. Grinding's one for sure. Run around and kill, pick up loot. Yeah, I don't really think that there's like a lot of dynamic gameplay that I've at least experienced yet. But also there might be some of it that I'm not doing, and